Hello and welcome to Critical 3. I'm Josh.
I'm Tyler.
Welcome.
Hello. Nice
Evening.
to be back.
Yeah, may as well. I've just been in the shower.
You been there to freshen up, not been Subway.
Freshen up, mate. Yeah, I thought I'd freshen up before the video, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, welcome to Critical 3. I hope we're all good today. Today is an important day in history, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the day that Disney Plus and Star Plus, as it was known, has combined forces, and they are now one streaming platform. So it's quite a big moment for video and internet history and things like that. And it could also be more formally known or devastatingly known as the downfall of Netflix. Of course, for years and years, it's like I'm doing some history.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
History
Keep going.
You liking it?
Go. Roll.
For years and years, Netflix has been on the top of its game when it comes down to streaming and video and the platform to be, the platform to have, the subscription to have, where you need to watch those channels, you need to watch those programs on there, you go to Netflix. That is it.
Not Sky?
But is that well, yeah, obviously Sky goes without saying that. But streaming service, you go to Netflix for your shows.
Netflix
okay?
originals.
Yeah. Yeah, Netflix originals, everything. All right. Is that all about to end?
Well, see, it's very interesting.
This is what me. Sorry, hold on. Let me finish my little start. Is that about to end? So me and Tyler are here today to discuss such dilemma in detail and really delve in to Disney Plus and Star Plus together.
Do you know? I kind of feel. And by the way, guys, if you're watching, there is a bit of delay. I'm just letting you know, Josh, it is delaying there. So I hope we'll see how that comes out in editing. But kind of cracking on with the video, I felt that the more you went on about it, the more David Attenborough you got. I was kind of expecting at the end, oh, you could see, Disney Plus taking its prey. Yeah,
I just remember like Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant and that they do like segments of podcasts, don't they, where they explore like one topic, like science, and always at the start it's like it's like that, like David Attenborough, like documentaries. So I just wanted to kind of
I like it. Mate, I like it. I enjoyed it. That's it. I'll sit here and watch it. So guys, is what Josh mentioned. Is Netflix on the downfall? Is it dropping like the number of COVID cases? You know, is it going down that fast?
Current affairs.
See, I'll be honest with you. This we just mentioned this. Was it a week ago now? What did we say a week ago?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
And I thought, what's it on about? Netflix is as top as it's ever been. It's big. Blah 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 blah. Really good. He's talking a load of rubbish. And then Disney come out. Well, we've got a Star coming out. I've not heard of Star, but I saw what was on it. It's got one of my favourite Tom Hanks films, Bachelor Party. It's got Family Guy. This is Disney. Disney is streaming this stuff. And they also got a show which is done by the same people who do Rick and Morty, which is about an alien family. Which I didn't know if you knew that, Josh, but being a Rick and Morty fan. Which we know what their humour is going to be like. You've got, you've got films that are not really Disney, but we know that Disney owned Fox. So... yeah, and it was that. I think it was that kind of got me thinking. Maybe Josh is right. Maybe he's onto something.
But when you see the advert for the collaboration, when you see it, there's loads of shows, loads of talked about shows even to this day that came out 10 years ago that are going on there. How I Met Your Mother is one, and I know you're not a fan, but How I Met Your Mother, that's one of my top TV shows of all time. I enjoy that a lot. That's going on there. That was on Netflix. So I'm assuming, normally the case is only one streaming service has something at a time. So I'm assuming it's going to come off of Netflix to go onto Star Plus. The same with Breaking Bad, I think that was on there. 24 was on there. You know, there's all those shows that, you know, have been around for years and always discussed, and people just rewatch them, binge them, rewatch them, and they're going on to this Star Plus, along with, as you mentioned, fresh content as well.
Yeah, like, look at, and again, kind of moving, going a bit forward, to be fair, like, look at WandaVision. This is a Disney Plus original. How popular is that at the minute?
Well, it came out, didn't it? I shared it on Facebook the other day. The most streamed show of ever, I think it was, wasn't it?
Like that.
Was that what it said?
That's what Disney's made. You know, so that's without having all this other content which they're going to be putting out there. And I'll be honest with you, like, see, I do like Netflix. However, there's one show on there which, you know, I don't know, it's no biggie, but it's been on Netflix since I started subscribing to it, which was years ago, and it's not on there anymore, and that's In-Betweeners. In-Betweeners is gone. Certain other films that used to be on there that is gone. It's weird. It's like some ones that you used to see all the time have just disappeared without any kind of notification so that this is leaving the service. It's just gone.
That is also down to, because obviously In-Betweeners was a Channel 4 thing, wasn't it? Or E4, whichever. Right. That's more down to these now streaming services which are like 4OD and BBC iPlayer and things like that. They're all doing their own version of box sets now, aren't they?
I think 4OD had been around for years.
Yeah, true. But they've started to up the game because, of course, you know, about a year ago or 6 months ago, BritBox came out, which was something where all the free-to-air channels kind of grouped together and all the box sets are on there. Now, that was one of the main things for Netflix, was that they had all the BBC content, they had the Channel 4 content, the ITV, all of the free-to-air just in a box sets version. So they'd already been on terrestrial TV before. They just obviously were in one place so you could watch them again or watch them because you missed them or something like that. Whereas it seems like you say, In-Betweeners is a good example. That has come away from the streaming service now.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure, and a John Wick film was been removed as well. So like some kind of big stuff like that is just kind of just gone. And so like I said, you got me thinking. And I'll be honest, when Disney Plus first come out, I subscribed when it did, and it obviously it was very limited. Didn't have much on there. I had just Star Wars and everything else on there. And I watched a few stuff. There's a few stuff on there I watched as a kid, and I went to rewatch them. I actually didn't complete the film just for the simple fact that, you know, it was one of those where I enjoyed it more as a kid, and I thought, why am I sat here, a 23-year-old grown man watching this? I'm not.
I watched like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody or something like that. I did. I rewatched all of that. Brought back my childhood.
Well, I watched the film. I loved it as a kid. Robin Williams, film called Jack, where he stuck it, and I got halfway through it, and I thought, I loved it. Yeah, I'm struggling to watch this now. Like it's not that great of a film, but as a kid, I really enjoyed it. And so I kind of come away from the streaming service. Then you got Mandalorian. Also, that was a massive thing on there. You've watched it. Liam's watched it. I haven't yet. I've seen certain bits. And I've obviously just gone now to Disney Plus for the WandaVision for our videos.
Well, that is. So I initially, when Disney Plus came out, I think I did the free trial just to see what it was all about. I let the free trial go, and then I cancelled it because I was like, it's not really for me. I feel like it's for the younger audiences. I'll leave it, right? And then Mandalorian came out. And that was then when I was like, okay, we'll get this back now. This, there's something on there for me to watch. So I got that back just to watch Mandalorian, right? And before I could even consider cancelling it, again, another series came out, WandaVision, and then again after WandaVision ends, another series is going to come out, which is the Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's something. Then again, I'll keep it because that's on there. That's going to be on there. So on and so forth. So I just feel like there's content that, Marvel's a massive thing, and so Star Wars. Everybody wants to watch that. That's that's the two of the most successful franchises in the world. So for them to have the rights to that, is amazing. Obviously, Disney, you know, the rights for Fox, X-Men, everything as well. You've got literally your Marvel. It's the first time. It's the first time. Correct if I'm wrong, but it's the first time you've had all the Marvel films in one place where you can just stream it like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You used every now and then there used to be like a film crop up on Sky Cinema. There used to be a film crop on Netflix and things like that, but you wouldn't have all of
Yeah.
them. Whereas literally every single Marvel film, you can watch the whole cinematic universe from start to finish on Disney Plus now, which is insane. The same with Star Wars, you can watch the whole thing to start to finish. I remember, you know, a few years back, I didn't have the Star Wars on DVD or Blu-ray, and I was wanting to watch it really badly, so I went out and bought it because that was literally the only option to watch all of them in one place. And lo and behold, they're all there now in one place on Disney Plus. So it's not needed. It's not needed to go out and buy those DVDs anymore if you're not like us, where we like buying Blu-rays and DVDs
Of
anyway.
course, and I think that's another thing as well. Even though we say it's for kids, Netflix don't really have many good cartoons, really, do they? They have the Peppa Pig, and they have kind of like the cheapy YouTube crap cartoons that they have on there these days. But like, you know, like you kind of like your Cartoon Network, like your Kim Possible, or your stuff that you had on that you remember as a kid, like your Kim Possible stuff, and you know, and you can go and watch that. And like I said, I don't think you have that on Netflix. So I think that's, you got the cartoons. So I think the kids more stuff for kids is more as well. And then obviously, like I said, this Star, there's films on there, there's things on there that I think even I've got on Blu-ray or whatever. It's like, if this was on Netflix, I would have watched you. Like Bachelor Buyer, that's a great film. It'll be interesting to see how the Family Guy is done, because we know that in America the Family Guy series are done differently to what's actually released in the UK. So you can get an episode that will come out in America, and it won't come out in the UK for another year or 2 years.
Right.
So
yeah, it's like Simpsons as well as on there. All 31 seasons of the Simpsons.
Family Guy. Like, all you need now is bloody South Park, and you've got the trio.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, that's powerful.
Which is the one thing that Netflix do have, is they do have South Park on there at the moment.
They didn't for a long time. They did in America.
Didn't for a long time. It's only recently. Yeah.
Like I said, the best two things I've for Netflix recently is, well, the best few things is Only Fools and Horses. I can watch that whenever. South Park and the American Office.
Yeah.
Oh, pardon me. But so yeah, this Star thing again with the films. There's just a lot of interesting films coming out onto it, and it'll be interesting to see will they be adding more to Star, and you know, further down the line, or.
Oh, for sure. You know, if Star have now paired with Disney, obviously Disney's one of the richest companies in the world for movie and TV now. You know, they've bought so much, they've got so much rights to different things. So, you know, it's bound to be the biggest collection we've ever seen of TV and movie in one place on a streaming platform ever. It's bound to be. You know, another big thing that's obviously been taken away from Disney Plus now, by Disney Plus from Netflix, is the Marvel shows.
And I'm glad you said that, because Daredevil was fantastic. Punisher is fantastic as well. If they put it this way, if Disney says, right, we're gonna continue them but only streaming on Disney, mate, like, yes, I'll just cancel Netflix. I'm like, right,
again,
I'll just see Disney.
It's something that people only had Netflix to watch those specifically, because they were huge. That's the only place you could get them. Is huge, but now they've lost that. And there's many examples of Netflix shows now that were very, very popular, and for some reason they've decided to cancel them. They've decided to discontinue them. You know, an example of it, you know, lack of any other example, is the Sabrina series, the Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They had a new series come out of that. I think it was only like 1 or 2 series, but it was very popular in its own right, and they've, you know, discontinued it. And there's plenty of shows like that. If you go onto Google and just type in discontinued shows, there's a long list.
I think that's where Netflix has gone wrong in the past 2 years. Is they discontinued. Why did you discontinue Daredevil? Obviously, it might be something to do with the rights, but they've discontinued shows that were really popular, like the Sabrina one, other stuff. And if you've noticed, just think for the past year to 2 years, they've discontinued shows that are like proper acting shows, right? And they've started to bring more documentary stuff in. The Hotel of this,
Yeah,
the
sure.
Murderer of this, the Real
Yeah,
Killer,
yeah.
you know, Ted Bundy's tapes. It's like they've gone down that aisle and thinking, well, let's
Yeah.
do less of the shows, let's do more of this real murderous stuff.
But again, and I'm pretty certain it's paired with Disney Plus in the fact that it's called Discovery Plus. Yeah, you've got Discovery Plus,
Which is annoying.
which is
It's
documentaries
annoying because
alone.
there's stuff on there that I wanted to watch, but I'm just not paying for another bloody streaming service to watch.
Well, there you go, mate. That so many people might have that exact opinion, right? And they might go, well, you know, if Netflix is going to just continue to do documentaries only, and I may as well cancel that because I can get Discovery Plus that has only documentaries on there and the better quality documentaries as well. So again,
Well,
there's a lack of need for
well,
Netflix.
that's debatable, isn't it? Obviously, because you've just had the very
Huh?
no,
What do you mean that's debatable? National Geographic is on
No.
there, isn't it? Discovery Channel has been a Discovery Channel for
yeah.
ages.
But what I'm saying, you just said that the documentaries are better than the Netflix ones. But we've just had the Hotel Sicily or whatever it's bloody called, right? Which is the famous hotel in America, the Lisa Lamb was in. Discovery Plus have just released a similar documentary about the same thing. We don't know if it was about
When I said better, I was speaking on, you know, an imaginary person. You know, when I was saying, they would cancel Netflix to get Discovery Plus because they feel like those documentaries are
Right,
better. That's
okay.
what I meant by that. Try a different range of documentaries then. That maybe they've watched all the documentaries on Netflix, something like that. They'll go to Discovery Plus because they've run out of ones that they do want to watch on Netflix, things like that. So again, no need for Netflix for them. It's interesting. It'd be interesting to see what happens in years to come, whether it does affect Netflix and the amount of people, because there's not a single person that I speak to that doesn't have Netflix in some form or another. Now, Netflix have as well, which can be seen as a negative thing for Netflix, is that they have a max on how many devices you can watch at the same time. Okay. So you have their top subscription is 4 devices at the same time. I think maybe even 8 on some circumstances as well. So it limits the amount you can share it round the family. Yeah. So you can't just buy one subscription and then give everyone your login and then it's happy days, right? Whereas Disney Plus, as far as I'm aware, because I haven't seen it anywhere advertised, you can have it on the maximum amount of devices. There's no limit to how many times you can use it at one time, anything like that. So again, that might be another way. Probably from Netflix perspective, it's something that it's better for monetization for them, because of course people are going to require to buy it more. But then Disney Plus, did Disney need money?
Yeah, see, I think right. See, this is a question because see, guys, it's a bit of a weird video. This one, it is just subjective. Disney Plus and Netflix, really. Also, you've got Amazon Prime, but that's its own thing. I think Amazon doesn't need what Netflix and Disney kind of need.
No, it's not a sole
they
thing,
never
is it?
compare. It's a bit different. It's a bit more complicated, I find. So sticking with the main two, and like I said, I think the most interesting point would be for us to look back at both streaming platforms this time next year.
Sure, yeah, I'm down for that.
I honestly think because, like I said, when Disney Plus, which was around about this time, well, it was March last year, then it came out surprisingly just when the pandemic started, when everyone had to go at home. It's a great time in Disney, I think it made a lot of subscriptions with that. I think it kind of worn off a bit. The Mandalorian WandaVision has definitely kind of kicked up its subscriptions. I think the Star will help in some form, or at least keep maintaining it. And I just think in a year's time, it will be very interesting to see how much can Disney grow, how fast they can grow, what can they bring more, and how quick. And it will also be interesting to see if Netflix stay on this documentary road that they're on, or are they just gonna like, right, we've got these, we need to start banging out some? Are they gonna focus more on originals? Are they gonna focus on more on film originals rather than series? You know, so it would be interesting.
Well, you said it yourself, didn't you, the other day? So obviously, you know, there was two. So the Sunday before this one just gone, and the Sunday after, we did Netflix original films, didn't we? But these were films that came on Netflix 2 or 3 years ago, so not recent. Now they have been doing recent films, but none of those films have really, you know, tickled my fancy, if you like. They've not been, you know, that high standard of film by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know what's going on within Netflix. I don't know if there's an issue, but it just doesn't seem like they're getting the same level of content as they did out 2 or 3 years ago. No. You know, and with them losing rights to certain things, it's incredible. But you know, certainly, you know, something that you are seeing is Disney Plus, and that, you know, their future. They're not scared of you know, telling you what the future of the platform is going to be. In the fact that, of course, you know, we knew a month in advance that, you know, that Star Plus was coming on, one of the biggest things, and they had the price increased by £2 because of that. Now, Star Plus was its own individual subscription. Yeah, it was its own individual subscription. Like when you went onto Amazon Prime, occasionally when you click on a film that isn't included Amazon Prime, it will say, "Oh, this is on Star Plus." So, you know, that's how I kind of knew about it before.
Yeah, I think I remember.
Yeah. So it was, and I don't know how much it was. I'm assuming it will be about $5.99, $6.99, whatever, similar sort of price to what all the other streaming services are. But of course, you know, not only the Star Plus, which is a month away, you've got, you know, content, films, TV series that you know about. So of course, we've had behind the scenes of Obi-Wan, the new Kenobi. Is it called Kenobi? It's going to be on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's a TV series, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's that's coming out. You've got, obviously, you know, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which again paired with that are other ones where Marvel had their press conference of, was it like 4 years, 5 years of like upcoming Marvel content,
She-Hulk,
and within there,
that's going to be a Disney Plus.
There you go, TV series, Disney Plus. So. So they're not scared of telling you, oh, these are to come. So it gets you that, you know, that wanting to keep it for those to come out in the future. You know that there is content coming. Whereas Netflix, you know, that themselves individually, they don't really tell you what's coming. I know they do have a section on there on the mobile app where you can see down, but it doesn't. None of it's like amazing. I've scrolled down there countless times and gone, maybe click one thing on my list when it comes out.
I think, now this, what I'm about to say is by no means a kind of, you know, saying out bad about the film or anything like that. But I think the point that Netflix started to decline was after Irishman.
Okay.
Because it was such a big thing. Like, that film was, you know, it was, look at the people that were in it. It was, it was like the comeback of these people. You know, it was the comeback of you Goodfellas, to say. And the film was very well received. Me and you do enjoy it. It's not the best, and like I said, the CGI is not the greatest. But I think after that, they kind of went. I don't know. You just kind of get the sense that they thought we ain't gonna be able to do anything, pull it off that big again, or that didn't work quite as well maybe as we wanted it to.
True. Yeah, maybe it didn't have the same pull-in as they thought. Maybe they had a target set for numbers that they wanted to achieve by doing this film, and they didn't achieve that.
How can you go that high? Which it is. Is such a massive thing, and they've never really got anywhere that close or brought anything out to that excitement. Like Adam Sandler, he's got a contract with him. True. He brings out little films, but you know,
there's not the star-studded cast, if you like. As the same as Irishman, where you've seen a film out in the past 2 years, you haven't seen that same level of film come
Or the
out.
hype.
So
Look how much they advertised it.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
true. Yeah, it was a big
it's
thing,
like
wasn't it?
Netflix who just kind of went, we put a lot of chips in that. It didn't pay off as much. It paid, but not as much as we wanted.
Mm.
Let's do a totally different route. And then I think that's when they switched and they started these documentaries and murder tapes and Ted Bundy and
Well, that was possibly after the success of probably one of the first documentaries I watched on Netflix, which was The Tiger King.
yeah, I really enjoyed that. That came out last year.
That was
I
really
did
good, wasn't
enjoy
it?
that.
And that was the first one I can really recall I watched on Netflix. Now I know there's been several before
Yeah,
that,
Making a
but
Murder was a massive one. I couldn't get into that.
Making a Murder
I
was
couldn't
massive.
get into that,
Yeah,
but that was
I could.
probably one of the first big ones. See,
Yeah.
again, I'm gonna ask you this question. The thing, the thing that makes the best streaming service for me for films is kind of what can they bring out new, so like the originals and stuff. And I also think, which I think Netflix have again fallen behind a lot in the past few years, is your old films. You know, where you're screaming through and you think, God, I've totally forgot about the film. I've not watched that in years, or you never see it out
Yeah.
on you know, you've not found it out on
Yeah.
DVD.
Yeah.
It's like Black Hole, like that's on Disney Plus. My dad loves that film. You can't buy it on Blu-ray.
Oh,
So it's stuff like that. It's stuff that, you know, it's these films that people will remember as a kid and or you know, remember watching or out like that, but you can't buy it anywhere, or you know, it's hard to find. It is. It's I think that's what makes a good streaming service is those, and also your new content. And Netflix don't have many of those kind of, you know, old films like Jack. Even though I didn't like it that much when I watched it on Disney Plus, it was something that I went, oh, you know, when I saw it, I thought, oh, I'll watch that because I remember it.
yeah. Yeah. Netflix is when they talk about their numbers and what's on Netflix, how many shows and things like that, it is almost a padded stat with a lot of badly rated stuff. I think that's a fact. I don't think that's necessarily an opinion, but if it is an opinion, then fair enough. But it's stuff that you click onto your IMDb, you click onto your Rotten Tomato, you see the reviews of these certain shows and certain films that are on Netflix, and they're below par. They're below par. But these Netflix used to be something where, like you say, if you thought of a film and you went, right, oh yeah, I haven't watched that in ages, you go straight onto Netflix, bam, 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 it's normally on there. But you
Can't
don't.
do that.
I've done that a few times recently, and they've not been on. Like you say, John Wick is a good example of it. I was speaking to my dad. My dad hasn't watched John Wick yet. I says, oh, you must watch it. And then he was like, oh, where can I watch it? And obviously, the first thing a couple of years ago would have been, oh, it's on Netflix. Nope, not anymore. I have no idea where the first John Wick is. I think it's on something. I think it might be even on Sky Cinema. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I think it's maybe more competition as well, whereas Netflix was, one of the biggest streaming services and one of the only streaming services out there. Whereas now there's a lot more. Prime Video came out. Disney Plus is now out. They're having that competition, so they can't get away with the same sort of stuff as they did before because it's got to be shared.
Yeah, and I think this is where I kind of agree on what you're saying is the fact that when Disney Plus first come out, I wasn't that bothered. Now it's not there yet, but it's getting to the point where I might be like I could watch WandaVision and probably cancel it. All those stars coming onto it, I'll probably watch a few things on there. Now, depending on what that library's like, I know the library has been released. I've not looked at it yet, but if I could, I think when I flick through that after finishing WandaVision, I'm going to end up keeping it for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. But it's getting to the point where they are adding these things, and I might get to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to cancel it because there's actually quite a few good stuff on this now, and if I start using that more, then I think I will cancel Netflix unless there's something that I really wanted to watch, or I'll just be like, right, well, if my dad wants Netflix, you have it, and if there's out on there, I'll watch it on his account.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is interesting. And I remember the other day I went onto Disney Plus, and there's that initial screen, isn't there, the home
Mm.
screen, and that has genres and things on there, like Netflix. It has genres, and then the scrolly
Yeah.
bar things, right? Now I was thinking, I was going on it, I was going, oh, I'm at the bottom already. That's interesting. There's not much on
Mm.
here, right? So I did a bit of investigation. I went into it a little
Right.
bit more, and there's there's a top bar at the bit. There's a drop down, and it's normally set on most
Mm.
popular. So when you click on movies or you click on TV series, it's normally set on most popular. If you change that to A to Z,
Mm.
you get everything. And when I say everything, mate, it is a absolute crap
Yeah.
ton of stuff. It is crazy how much stuff's on there, and like you and like me before, I did not realise there was that much on until I found that this was the way to do it, and it's literally A to Z. Mate, I kept scrolling and I wasn't even out of A. I was going, what is going
Yeah.
on? There's so
Yeah, this
much.
Disney Plus is one of those, and that's where I go back to the cartoons. Is like when you start searching, there's a lot on there. Now, a lot that you won't watch, but all I'm saying is for anyone who's got a kid or family, I'll get rid of Netflix. Just go with Disney Plus. You've got cartoons
Yeah,
galore on it, and decent cartoons, good ones that we grew up with that actually taught you something.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Not this. I'm Peppa Pig. Here's George. You know. Oh, I was gonna try so hard not to swear then, but put Yoda on the Clone Wars. Teaching kids about bloody life. But anyway, like there's so much on there, and there's a lot on there. And even with the films as well. Like there's even films out there that I didn't even know were released.
mm,
Like the back in the day, early 2000s, cheap Disney films on that were real live action of the cartoons that they was doing at the time.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It went under the radar. Like, there was a Kim Possible one. Did
maybe
you
I
see
think there's
that?
two.
Yeah. I thought, what is
Yeah,
that? I was like, that is bad. That was one where I was like, oh no, that's terrible. I'm
but
never gonna watch
but
that in my life.
do you know what? Like, it's funny you should say that because you know how coming soon, guys. By the way, critically crap was coming soon. I was actually going to suggest watching the Kim Possible film and do it on there. See how we could get.
We can do that. We can do that. I'm
How
down
we
for
could get
that.
far.
I'm down for that for sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, like I said at the minute, Josh, I think you've got a good point. I was against you, but I see a shift in the tide. I think that's where I'll put it.
Mm, definitely. Yeah. 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 It's obviously everything said in this video is an opinion. There's not really much fact based off of us saying this, really, but it's just us putting
So,
two and two together, a couple of things that's happened, a couple of things that's gone on, and really just coming up with a bold statement and hoping that it pays off, and then we've bigged it, mate. We've called something. But one thing I do want to say just before we end is that, of course, along with Mandalorian, along with the big pool shows that Disney Plus had, they had a few movies, didn't they? So they had Mulan,
mm,
which originally was going to be cinema release, didn't get released in the cinema. It was on Disney Plus because of the lockdown. Yeah, and you could only watch on. Well, you could buy it for like 20 quid
30, wasn't it?
from like or 30 quid for all the things. And then so that was like in October, I think you could do
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
And then on Christmas or New Year's, they bought it out for free on Disney Plus. So quicker than a DVD would come out, really, as well. And they had a film called Soul that came out as well
it's a new
recently,
Pixar one.
last month or so. New Pixar one. Again, on Disney Plus like that. Crazy. Again, normally cinema release for that, probably. So, yeah, it's interesting. Disney is always a massive pull. It's hard to fight that pull if you're another streaming service because people just see Disney and go, "Oh, that's going to be good." They don't think twice, especially kids. Disney's a big thing. Disney's a big thing for kids' lives. If it's Disney related, they think it's going to be amazing, and it's probably more than likely is. To be fair to them. So it's hard for them, hard for the rest of the streaming services for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I said it's got the Pixar library. Pixar's there's so many good Pixar films. But yeah, like I say, it's one of those where I think, anyone who's got a kid or anything like that, or, I think Disney Plus, you should have it. It's just a given. We kind of knew, I would have said that probably from the beginning. It's say, if you're kind of into that kind of stuff, you're going to subscribe. But for obviously people like us, I think obviously the Star Wars, we do like Star Wars, obviously, we won't talk about it, but it's with the Marvel stuff and the fact that they're continuing, like a comment my dad made, obviously we're still doing the Marvel and Vision reviews. If you haven't watched that, go and click the link, we'll put it in the description. But, obviously there's a rumour that the WandaVision is linked to Doctor Strange Multiverse, which then is also linked to the Spider-Man 3, so depending on how strong these links are, if we didn't have Disney Plus, we're not going to kind of see the full story.
It's essential. If you're a Marvel fan, it's an essential to watch the series.
So if you're following that kind of stuff and you love your superheroes, which I do, I love the Hulk, I love Spider-Man, I love Iron Man, I do really enjoy him. I enjoy those films. It's one of those where, you have to have Disney Plus, and it's strong content. I've really enjoyed WandaVision.
Yeah. Well, obviously, as Tyler says, we've had episodes of WandaVision reviews individually out at the moment, so go and check those out if you haven't already. We've got 1 to 4 up at the minute, and then this coming Thursday, I think we're going to have 2 come up again. 5 and 6. Make sure. 5 and 6. Yeah, that's the one. Make sure you check those out when they come out. If you're not subscribed to Disney Plus, why not? We're not advertised by them, but like Tyler says, if you've got kids, anything like that, it's a strong recommendation from us.
If you're on the fence about WandaVision, go and watch it, because then that way you can come back, watch ours, and see if you agree with us, or are you sticking with Netflix? Do you totally disagree with us? Put in the comments. We want to hear what you got to say.
It'd be interesting. We're down to have a conversation. Put in the comments down below your opinion, and we'll fight you with our opinion. All right, like and subscribe and all that good juicy stuff, and we'll see you all on the next video.
Nice.